So we'll start with the questions on the bottom here in red. The spot elevations are not supposed to be overlapping. Your text's already pretty small. I would say they're at a good size. I wouldn't make it any smaller. Um, you later on, once you have all the spot elevations, all the necessary ones, you would start to reorganize them if they are overlapping by using leader lines. This also means that you probably need to move other spots and labels to accommodate all of the spot elevations. Yes, and the final drawing will get very crowded. Uh, Checking the spot elevations on the right side, I'm not exactly sure on which ones. So for instance, if we look at this retaining wall here, you would not have two spot elevations for the same end of the wall, okay? You would have only one here. And honestly, the retaining wall would not be at this location. It will be, as an extension of the building wall. Okay, so your retaining wall would be something like this, and then you wouldn't have any spots over here, only, because the retaining wall on top of the plaza is the building wall. So you do not have a 1108.00 here. And then the bottom of the wall, 996.1 seems reasonable, and maximum 4 feet, so that's good. Moving down, these elevations, well, this one will have to be lower than the 1097.5. Okay, if everything is going down at 2.5, these two should be 0.5% multiplied by the distance to the wall corner here, so it's gonna be lower than 1097.5. And then let's see. These look reasonable. The stairs needs to be redesigned. Ramp needs to be redesigned. It's not long enough. It needs to be 200 feet. Stairs needs to be 2 flights, right? You have 20 steps. Well, more or less 20 steps, depending on what the top of stairs are and the bottom of the stairs are. This would not be 107.5. You need to calculate, well, let's see. Calculate based on this. It could be. But then again, looking at this one and that one, this wouldn't be 0.50, okay? You need to do the 2% thing to the 1107 to find out what this is. And all of the three being 1107.50 seems to be an estimate instead of a calculation. And then this would not be a 1107.00. Again, essentially you need to do 2% calculating to the 1107 contour to know what these spots are. But because of your ramp and needs to be redesigned, very likely you have stairs and kind of against the building wall, and your ramp, because it needs to be pretty long, will start at a location somewhere here. So you need to swap, likely your spots need to swap the stairs and the ramp. So these area, at this point, checking the spot elevations wouldn't be very beneficial. Again, one spot here, BW and TW seems reasonable. So those are the elevations on the right side. And let's see. Your these elevations 105.40, they don't seem reasonable yet. Reason being, you need to calculate from the original 1106 here. Okay, so this one would be above 1106. That one would be below 1106. So that's reasonable, but shouldn't let's see. So this is 1105.5 over here at the top of the curve. So this should still be above 1105.5. And also I wouldn't design the plaza to be this because nobody will use this angle. So you might as well turn somewhere or turn this into a curve. So again, this plaza will intersect with the bus drop off by a right angle here. So that's the second question about the spot elevations and inner circles. Okay. Always calculate based on parking lot contours. Once you have these contours, it gets pretty confusing, right? But if you base the calculations on the parking lot plaza, and then that's the bottom of the curve, okay? Bottom of the curve, always go, you design for 2%, it will always go with 2% slope to your nearest contour. So for instance, this one, you have 1105.90. That's pretty reasonable. But I would say all of your spot elevations at this point are estimates. You didn't calculate yet, and you need to get into the calculation mode. There's a lot of calculation to be done. So I can see that you sort of oriented your spot elevations like, along these lines. Um, I'd say, keep them, no, and then this one is parallel to the page. Usually we would say, all the spot elevations needs to be parallel to each other. The best way is actually to be parallel to the page. But because you sort of made it work along kind of this line, I would change these. I would change these ones to be parallel to the other ones. Okay. And the label too. Well, it's a little hard to change this label, but I would say no, these spot elevations would be the same as the other spots. Okay. All the spots parallel to each other. Some labels, if it doesn't make sense for them to be parallel to the spots, and that's okay. Because they are kind of the bus drop off, those things are kind of minority. Okay. So kind of derailed a little bit. I think I answered your question about, how to calculate the spots. And okay. I noticed this one, right? This one is not correct. Oh, it's pretty close to 1105 here. So it would be 105.30, but I think you get the idea. Okay. So that is calculating the spots. The slopes for the final submission. Let's take a look. You have slope in the parking lot. Oh, you have 2.5%. Okay, then you need, no, I take it back from the 2% from before. You need to calculate all the spots based on the 2.5% slope. You have a slope over here, that's good. Add another slope. Oh, this direction. Yeah, maximum, right? Now calculate the maximum slope over here because it's not a uniform slope. You need a slope over here. You'd better add another slope over here for the driveway here. And one more here. And for the plaza. And for the plaza. Okay. And yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's the extra slopes that you would need. Okay, so those are the red text questions. Let's move forward with your so the first thing I noticed is, here you do not need to round the curb here, right? Because you're parking a car over here and you wouldn't want it to be, this parking spot needs to be complete. No, it shouldn't be curved. And then the circle needs to be, the DI needs to be exactly at the location of the intersection, okay? At the corner itself. So the calculation you might want to adjust for it to be 1106, no, for instance, 0.7 or 0.65, something like that. Be accurate at this point. Given your curb cut or DI equal to 1106.70, the elevation of LP being 1106 and your contour and your AP, all the other things look good. So just return a 90 degree corner and move the DI to be at exactly the corner and recalculate the DI accurately. That's for this retention, so good job on that one. This one is a little tricky. I'm not seeing a retention area yet. Notice that your swell goes into the circle. So if you want to use this green area, there needs to be a curb cut over here. And you do need a curb cut over here too. And later on, a big retention at the end. Reason being, all of your water, untreated, if previously untreated, it all goes along this curve, along the swell, and then it needs to be cutting out the sidewalk over here and be discharged into a large retention area. And also here you calculate based on distance to the 1105, and it seems like this is halfway. So, well, very close to halfway, right? So the bottom of curve will be 1104.5 instead of 1104.00. So those are some of the spots that will need to be recalculated, and your retention area here needs to be redesigned. Next one. So the next one, I'm a little confused on, why the trench drain will go across the curb. I wouldn't have a trench drain going across the curb like this. I'll keep this one, right? This one would be, for the top of the plaza. It's able to receive water from all the way here, so it's a significant amount of water, not the whole thing, but you're able to collect all these. That's no worth doing. And then looking at all your other, you wouldn't have an HP here, right? You're at kind of the edge of a plaza. Let's see where a plaza ends. It's a little difficult to see where exactly your plaza ends. It feels like, uh, you have a curb. No, not a curb, sorry. A sidewalk over here, and then it could be, that could be how your plaza is laid out, because I'm seeing this line, I'm seeing that line, and that's not exactly clear where your plaza is. Let's zoom out and see if I was wrong in terms of where your. Yeah, I think that was a good guess where, your kind of sidewalk wrap around the turnaround and then turn once we're at about the corner here. Okay, so if that's the case, you wouldn't have HP, you wouldn't have a curb, right? This is the plaza edge, there's no curb there. You would calculate this top at the surface of the plaza, this would be probably 1105.8, something like that. But because you have a trench drain, the water flows from the bottom of the trench drain, right? So at the top of for instance, the plaza is 1105.8. Then at the bottom of the trench drain, let's suppose the trench drain is 0.5 deep, so 1105.3. That means the water entrance here, kind of water flows from the elevation of 105.3. And you would note that with the bottom of the trench drain, okay? Bottom of the trench drain equals to 1105.3. And then your RDI, okay, your RDI can be a little bit higher. You can be 1105 or 1104.8 here, so that your water, you wouldn't need to dig as deep of a hole here, right? And so let's change that to RDI equal to 1105 or 1105 4.8. And then and then the LP equal to 0, that's okay. And then you have a 1105 contour there, and you have HP. So those are good. LP, HP are good. RDI can be a little bit higher. And then you need to note the bottom of the trench drain. You would not have an HP on the other side here. And yeah, that's it about this retention area. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, you have one more inside here. We went through the 1105.9, that's correct. You do need to note it with a curb cut, right? Water will drain into it. And now RDI can be, again, a little higher, right? You do not want to make the hole too deep, unnecessarily deep, I would say. So the RDI can be 1105.4. And then your LP can be lower, a little bit lower, making it 1 foot deep or 0.5 foot deep. If you need well, in this case, I would make it one foot. Reason just being, you know, again, this is a swale, and you want to try to treat as much water as possible here. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that your curb cut is at this location. This curb cut is around 1106, but you know that's going to be a little bit lower than 1106, right? So 1105.9. 1105.9 here. Water getting inside. Yeah, still we can make it the RDI 1105.40. LP, and then you have a 1106 contour. You know, not necessarily have a 1106 contour there. Let's see. 1105.4, 1105.9. If you have a 1105.00, okay. I think this is 105 contour instead. Or you would have a 105 because your LP, you know, is currently at 105 and you have a flat bottom of the retention, right? So if we, if we push the LP lower, you definitely have a 1105 contour, okay? If you want to add another 1106, you can, but you don't necessarily have to add the 1106, just because you already have the curve, as you know, we're going down, and you have two curves. Now this is the upper curve. This is the lower curve. And we are at the 1. So your curb cut is somewhere over here. That's 1105.9. And I mean the bottom of the curb, sorry. So let me put another curb in. So the bottom of the curb is at 1105.90. So meaning you have another 1106 contour somewhere here, which is, you know that all the way across. That's a 1106 contour, which is honestly this one. And we're cutting down. So the water comes in here. We are cutting into the one, let's see. So we're cutting into here. This is 105.9, and we're going down to about So, okay, I see that you're trying to create a vertical wall sort of along the higher side of the curb. The bottom is, let's suppose it's below 1105. So you would have a 1105 contour. 1105 contour is somewhere here. So you can kind of see I have I do not need another 1106 here. I have a 1105. Water would not get out of here because my water level is 1105.4. So I would change this to 1105. The contour here changed it to 1105. And because nothing, RDI doesn't exceed 1106, LP doesn't exceed 1104.40. The curve over here, we could calculate to see, you have a 106 contour here already, right, from before. So I don't see the need for 106 here. I would change it to 105 once all the other elevations are changed. Okay. All right, so that's this one. And I think that's it. And I'll upload this to YouTube. Okay. See you in class.